Hey guys, Retro Dude here. Thanks for visiting my channel again, where we check out all things retro. We mainly focus on video games, but occasionally I go off into anime, cartoons, movies, anything retro basically. I like taking a look at it. Today, however, I'm gonna deviate a little bit on that. I'm an avid gamer, so it's not just retro games that I play. So I'm gonna share with you a game that I came upon and the reason why I came upon it. All right, so I'm a huge fan of the Fallout series. Specifically, I'm gonna talk about Fallout 4 right now because while it's not my favorite of the Fallouts, it is the one that I go to the most to replay it, and there's a simple reason for that. If you've played the Fallout 4 game, you've seen basically a game within a game. So when you're creating a settlement or when you're rescuing a settlement, you're given options to build up that settlement where you set up defenses, living quarters, food, and odd jobs that the settlers will ultimately end up doing. Now that segment of the game is extremely satisfying to me for some reason. And to be honestly, it took up about as much as the actual gameplay did in terms of time, just because I loved it so much. So I was looking for a game that basically gave me that satisfaction, that building, that sim building aspect of the game. So reading up on reviews, I came up on a game called Green Hell. I would probably characterize it as a survival sim game. It plays in first person, so it's a first person game. You could tell that it was designed for PC just because of how expansive the menus are. So with the DualShock, which I played it on the PS4 and it's totally playable, it got a little bit too hectic on just the control itself. So you could tell it was made for a keyboard, but don't let it deter you if you have a console, because I played it on a PS4 and it's completely playable. It's also available for Switch and for the Xbox, by the way. It was developed by a fairly new developer, Creepy Jar. I don't think I've ever heard of these guys before. So like I mentioned, I was searching for something similar to just that that builder aspect of it. And this game, though not exactly the same as that, like you don't build settlements and stuff, seemed to fit the bill rather well. So I figured, you know what, I'll give it a go. So right off the bat, the game throws you in without really giving you much of a tutorial. You do get a tutorial, but it sucks. I mean, it's so minimal that it just introduces you to the core mechanics. It's like, this is how you walk, and the next chapter is like, you better run. So it's like, what the hell's going on? So it was pretty frustrating that you didn't know exactly what you needed to do, but for the same thing, that's what made it so much fun. I like playing games without going to Google, without going to strategy guides. So just discovering these different things that you needed to do or that you could do in the game was very satisfying to me. So the game does have a story, and it has a couple of endings. It has a good ending and a bad ending. The bad ending actually being very cleverly thought out, and the good ending just basically being a vanilla type ending. Like, just think of Hollywood endings, and that's basically what you get. But definitely, if you do decide to undertake playing this game, the bad ending is really well thought out, and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, the bad ending in this game turns out to be the good ending, in my opinion. I'm not gonna ruin it with spoilers, by the way, so if you do want to hear about it, I recommend you going to YouTube and checking it out. I really want to steer away from the spoilers on that ending, just because if you do decide to play it, it's gonna be very, very good. It's gonna be very nice when you actually get to it. Now, graphically, the game has a very nice aesthetic to it. It looks very nice. It looks very pretty. It's pretty consistent with games in this current generation. So it doesn't, even though it is a developer that I've never heard of, the graphics are pretty much on par with any other game out there right now, especially with the fact that you could knock down and build up everything. So I'm basically grading it versus what I was talking earlier, like Fallout and stuff like that, and where the graphics are pretty decent, but you still notice glitches here and there. Now this game does have a couple of glitches that I encountered, but not really much to deter from it, especially definitely not even close to what the Fallout series offers in terms of glitches. So the game gives you a couple of tools. You get a watch to basically track your health levels, and a compass so you can switch between the apps and the watch. You get a walkie-talkie that you talk to the other person. On the other end of it is your wife, whom you're searching for, by the way. So again, like I mentioned, it's pretty frustrating and satisfying in the same, just discovering these new tools, these different ways of doing things. So prepare to die a lot, but discovering to build shelters, weapons, tools, without the game actually telling you how to do it, it was really satisfying. So just as an example, it took a few deaths before I realized that you could make a canteen out of a coconut. So if you do decide to play it, I urge you to stay away from the guides, because part of the game, part of the core gameplay of the fun of it is just discovering these new little tools that you're gonna get to build. So if you can think about it, the game pretty much provides it. The survival mechanics on it are abundant on that. The reason why I thought it was so cool, why I started enjoying it a lot after I got through that little learning curve that it has, is you're constantly being attacked by the jungle. This isn't like zombies attacking you, nothing as epic as that, you get me? Like no zombies, no aliens, just something as simple as you surviving in the jungle that basically takes center stage on this game. Something as simple as an infection killed me, and it killed me a lot. I'm telling you, like I could not figure out how to fight off infection on this game. So I was so frustrated, like damn man, like as soon as you get a cut, that's it, you're done. I was dead. Like it was just a matter of time before infection was gonna get me. And it's not just that, like there's bacteria if you drink dirty water, so you need to learn how to clean water. There's food that basically it separates food between fats, so you can eat protein and you'll be good, but if you don't have enough fat, like you're gonna start feeling weaker. And energy, so it tracks all of these different levels on it. It's very well balanced. It's a rather short game. It probably took me around 20 hours to beat, but that's not counting how many times I died, by the way. So I definitely died a lot on it. It has a very steep learning curve, but it's very satisfying. Again, if you enjoyed playing Fallout 4, if you enjoyed the settlement builder aspect of it, I definitely recommend you trying this game out, because it has a ton of that. Like you're able to build a hut, you're able to build a furnace where you can create metal weapons. You're able to create weapons. I created a bow, I created an axe, I created a spear, and you can use these things not just as weapons like to fight off wild animals and enemies. You can actually use it to fish, you get me? Like if you have a spear, you can use it to fish. So just how abundant, like in this little dense area of the jungle, everything that you could do, that you could eat, that you can craft, that you can explore. Now the game is not without its flaws, like any other game. Honestly, I think the passage of time was a little bit too aggressive in this game. So whenever like you had the infection or you had something that was wrong with you, like you were done. It was like, oh my god, as soon as you got it, you were gonna die. So for example, one of the things that I noticed that that I thought it was pretty cheesy, cheesy being that like, come on, you're exaggerating, is that when you had a bacteria on your stomach, you were throwing up constantly. And it was like, my god, you get, as soon as you throw up, you're dehydrated already. So it's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? I'm dead. That's what you're gonna do. And you're gonna have to restart the game again, or from wherever you saved. So it is a frustratingly difficult game at times, but it's also very cleverly created game. And if I remember right, it wasn't too expensive. So being that it's not a developer that's known for AAA titles or anything like that, I believe I paid either 15 or 20 bucks for the game, and I definitely got my money's worth. So that's my little rant today. Sorry it wasn't a retro game like it normally is. However, I figured I'd share it with you guys since I was so excited playing it. I was so engrossed in the survival aspect of it that I enjoyed it immensely, and I think you guys will too. And for 15-20 bucks, if you could get it for that price, it's definitely worth a shot, and you'll enjoy it as well. With that said, if you guys like the content that I'm uploading, don't forget to click the subscribe button, hit me with a like so that I can continue uploading these videos. And as always, stay retro.
Back here!
Look!
You can't